Rashad, why you
Anyways,
didn't hit me up?
Rashad. Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
brother, I love you, brother. Trump lit.
What's up, Rashad?
Yeah.
What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.
All right, man. So, excuse the pillows right there. It's been I just sat here for the past hour. Texted some folks, everything. The reports are true. You know, Trae about to get traded. The Hawks and Trae Young's camp, they're working on the deal to get him out of Atlanta. It's a lot of people that are, oh yeah, that'll make common sense. You know, the fit don't make sense anymore. Trade, defense, all of these things. I feel like there's a lot of people that were just ungrateful and don't understand the historical context. So the historical context, for those of you who don't know, and I want to put the disclaimer out there: is Trae perfect? No, Trae's not a perfect player. Like, he ain't perfect, but Trae is better than what the Atlanta Hawks have historically had in a long, long time. Atlanta is a city it's a bandwagon city. So Atlanta likes the flash, they like the superstars, they like the big names and everything like that, the expensive jewelry, all that, and black stuff. Like, that's just what Atlanta really gravitates towards. Like, Matt Ryan had to be in Atlanta for 8 years, win an MVP, take the Falcons to the Super Bowl, give him a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl for the city to finally accept him and be like, that's my quarterback, Matt Ryan. I love Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan. Like, it took that for the city to accept Matt Ryan because they were so stuck on how exciting and black Michael Vick was. He was in the music videos, do-rag, everything like that. So with the Hawks, it was just Dominique Wilkins. Like, I think Dominique was traded in 93. I was born in 95. My entire life of the Hawks, the most jerseys I've ever seen, my entire life was Dominique Wilkins, bro. It was all Dominique. The Falcons game, same thing. It's Deion Sanders, it's Michael Vick. It's just Michael Vick and Deion Sanders jerseys, no matter who playing on the team at the time. Julio took a little bit of that, and now you got Bijan Robinson. But that's just what it is in Atlanta, man. They like the flashy, they like the black, they like the cool. Like, you have to be more than just good at your sport to be loved in Atlanta and really appreciated and stuff like that. You got to be part of the culture. You got to embrace the culture in Atlanta. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? So my entire life, the Hawks were just mid, bro. They were just terrible, terrible, irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Empty seats. Like, they made jokes that the fans will come dressed as empty seats just because that's what it was. Like, it was so empty at those games. They had a whole drum line up in a 300 section just playing the drums during the games. It was that empty. What's up, man? And so for that to be the history of the Atlanta Hawks, you know, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Jason Terry, who else we had? Who else they had? Glenn Robinson, Theo Ratliff, all those folks. It was just, man, it's just so bad, bro. It was just so bad, dog. It was so bad, bro. And then, you know, eventually they start the new era. And the new era starts off with the 13-win season with Josh Smith coming out of high school and Josh Childress. And, you know, like they kind of move on from there. And it's really, really bad. They end up trading Antoine Walker, Al Harrington, all that. And they eventually, what happens after that? They restart with Joe Johnson. They start off with the Joe Johnson sign and trade with Phoenix. That's the most exciting move that the franchise has made my entire life. To that point, 2005, August. They finally got the deal done. I was checking ESPN.com every single day to make sure they got it done. And they finally got it done. It was so exciting. So they start off the new time with Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson doubles the amount of wins, but the problem was the 13 wins, the previous wins were 13. So they went up from 13 wins to 26 wins. And then they went up to 30 wins next year. And then they drafted Al Horford, AC Law. They changed the uniforms and they started, like, the air was just different. They really started, you know, they just progressively got better. And then at the trade deadline, they made the move for Mike Bibby, and that pushed them over the edge into the playoffs. Thank goodness they were in the East. that let them get into the playoffs. They were 37-45, 8 games under 500, but since they were in the East, they still made the playoffs. So they made the playoffs, and that playoff series against Boston, the way that they played at home, it gave them the confidence to continue to get better and get better, get better. So then they go on this 10-year run of making the playoffs every single year. They become an established, respected franchise. However, still kind of middle of the pack. Just it's like they're great, they're a good team, but they don't have any stars. And Joe Johnson became eventually a star because he kept making all-star teams, but Joe Johnson wasn't a superstar. And everybody kept saying, "Who's the guy? Who's the guy?" And he's like, "Joe Johnson is the guy." But Joe Johnson just quite wasn't like a D Rose or a LeBron or Paul Pierce even. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Joe was good, but those other guys were just like on another level. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was, bro. So that's what it was with Joe Johnson. And then Joe gets traded. He gets moved. They give him the biggest contract in the NBA. That's another mistake. So in my lifetime, it was drafting Marvin Williams over Chris Paul. It was drafting Sheldon Williams the very next year over Brandon Roy. And then, so those were two of the biggest mistakes. Then it was making Joe Johnson the highest paid player in the NBA. That was another mistake that the Hawks made in my lifetime. And then if you go back before then, you have John contract situation, the John Connect giving him that terrible contract. And then trading, thank you, I appreciate the spicy chicken. And then trading, like I said, Dominique for Danny Manning. And then it goes back to Bill Russell, trading Julius Irving. There are so many bad mistakes that this franchise the Hawks franchise, the Atlanta Hawks franchise, they're never on the right side of history. They are never on the right side of history. Never. So that's the thing. What's happening, Dan? What's happening, Dan? The Atlanta Hawks are never on the right side of history. So that's the problem, bro. And this is just the next step of that. So here we go. We have post Joe Johnson, Al Horford, all the boys, Paul Millsap. They're good, but they just don't have the superstar player to take them to the top. That's why they keep running into this guy named LeBron James, and they can't get past LeBron because they don't have a superstar to neutralize LeBron James. They can't be LeBron James. They finally got over Dwight Howard, but they couldn't get past LeBron James. So they kept getting swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James. They need a superstar. The Atlanta Hawks, they blow up that team because they tried to run it back. It didn't work. Al Horford leaves. Dwight Howard comes in. It didn't work. So they blew it up. They finally go, okay, we go full rebuild. Dennis Schroeder, John Collins, the team is terrible. 17-18. They got these guys named Josh Majed and guys off the street. They got Damian Lee. Shouts out to Damian Lee. Shouts out to the Curry family. They just have a bunch of random players, bro, on the team. Then the lottery ball bounces. They get the number 3 pick. Luka don't want to play for Atlanta. If he goes anywhere except for Dallas, he's going back to Europe. Okay. So they trade. So they agreed to do the trade to get Trae Young because they wanted Trae Young the whole time. Trae Young was electric. Box office, the player in college basketball, the college sensation. It's like Steph Curry, Jimmer Fredette. You skip a few years, Zion Williamson, then Trae Young. Or Trae Young and then Zion Williamson, excuse me, in terms of college basketball, just the whole world's talking about them in college basketball. The Atlanta Hawks finally get something exciting. It's what Quavo wanted. It's what the city wanted. The Hawks and the city of Atlanta never does anything exciting with the basketball team, bro. It's like they never had someone who had the opportunity to be a superstar. It was like Trae was a huge risk. He could be a bust. He could end up being the next Steph Curry. That was the talk coming out. I was open to it after Steph kept winning championships. I said, hey, you know what, Jay, pull the trigger on Trae Young. I got a video on it. You can look at it back in 2018. Pull the trigger on Trae Young if you want to do that. They got Trae Young. Trae Young lived up to the expectation, bro. He lived up to the expectation, man. And he man, he really like brought an exciting brand of basketball to the city of Atlanta and to the Hawks franchise. And it's something that the Hawks haven't had in 4 decades since they traded Dominique Wilkins to the Los Angeles Clippers for Danny Manning. They finally had, I'm so sorry, DJ Dad. I'm so sorry that your art teacher passed. They finally had something that was exciting, that got the city moving. I've seen more Trae Young jerseys in Atlanta and around the world. It's the first time I've seen that many Hawks jerseys in my life. In my 30, I turned 31 in a couple weeks. In my nearly 31 years of living on this planet outside of Dominique Wilkins. Remember at the beginning, I said Atlanta, they like flash, they like things that are black, they like things that are exciting. Trae Young checked off all of those boxes. The city finally had someone to cling on to that the kids could love, grow up on, and grow their love for the Hawks as they grow up. All of my friends who are Hawks fans now, they were not Hawks fans growing up as kids because the Hawks were boring. They didn't have anybody. It was like Joe Johnson, Al Horford, Paul Millsap. Those guys are good, but a lot of times those guys were just to tell the truth, those guys were boring. They weren't exciting like Carmelo Anthony. They weren't exciting like Dwayne Wade, the Flash, even Chris Bosh and LeBron James, of course, and Kobe Bryant, all these other teams and all these other superstars around the league, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. And it was like Joe Johnson, Al Horford, Paul Millsap, fundamentals. It was like the San Antonio Spurs, except for the Spurs won championships. The Hawks just made it to the playoffs and lost in the first two rounds. Trae was finally something exciting, and he had the will to get them to win. So the first couple seasons, he makes all-star appearances, everything like that, and then the boys make to the playoffs. They make it to the playoffs, and Trae, he did what he did, and he did it in style in New York, the biggest market in Madison Square Garden. Took the bow, became the villain in the biggest basketball market in the world, New York City. And he takes those guys to the second round. Now, the second round, the supporting cast carried. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to do revisionist history and say he carried them to the Eastern Conference Finals. Second round, it was Lou Williams, Danilo Gallinari, Bogey Bogdanovic, Clint Capella, John Collins, who else? And Kevin Herter. It was the supporting cast that carried them above the Philadelphia 76ers. They get to the Eastern Conference Finals, though, and Trae is going crazy in the Eastern Conference Finals. He is one trip away off of the referee's foot from the Atlanta Hawks going to the finals, and who knows what they do against the Suns. They probably win against the Suns. I don't know what happens against the Suns, but you get to the finals. That's as far as Luka went, and that's where they held Luka and all of these things, right? So Trae got them to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you might say, Trae won nothing for the Hawks. Why are you so sad about Trae Young? That. You're talking about the Atlanta Hawks here. What do they have to go off of before Trae Young made the Eastern Conference Finals? They have one Eastern Conference Finals appearance before that. 2015. I'm talking about once they moved to the city of Atlanta. They have one Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Dominique didn't go to the Eastern Conference Finals. They have one Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 2015 where they got swept by LeBron. So, yes, Trae Young winning 2 games and looked like he was going to win them 4 games before he stepped on the referee's foot. Yeah. That is the biggest deal in franchise history. You let someone like that roll until the wheels fall off. That's just what it is. You just let them roll until the wheels fall off. Jalen Johnson is having a great season statistically, offensively. He has been playing, the Hawks have been playing 500 basketball with Jalen Johnson leading the way. How in the world is that good enough to move on from the best player that your franchise has had in 4 decades? Just some people just don't appreciate things while they have them. You see all this nostalgia bait. You see the 2016. Oh, 2016 was so great. The life was so great in 2016. I remember 2016. I was there. You were there. People were complaining then. Oh, these kids with this Pokemon Go taking up these hoverboards. Oh, it is. People were complaining about everything in 2016, just like they are today. Just a few years passed, and then someone said it was a great year, and then everybody, oh, it was a great year. It's the best year ever. Appreciate things while they're here, bro. I appreciated Trae while Trae was in Atlanta. It's sad that it happened. I let some folks know, you know what I'm saying, my sentiments, everything like that. Let them know they appreciate it while they're here and stuff like that. Thank you for bringing exciting basketball back to the franchise, to the city. for the first time in my lifetime, I wasn't here once again, like I said, for Dominique Wilkins. So Trae Young was the biggest thing in over 30 years of living that I've seen with the Atlanta Hawks. It's unfortunate it had to end like this, but it's the nature of the business. And I think after the Luka Doncic situation, nothing surprises anybody with trades anymore. So best of luck to Trae Young for the rest of his career. And thank you for all you did for the city of Atlanta in basketball. And this will always be your second home, man, Atlanta. I'm not gonna lie. Like OKC is home, Oklahoma's home, Norman, but Atlanta will always be your second home. So appreciate you. And it's not taken for granted. It'll be a couple people who don't really see the value of what you did for them right now, but they'll see it eventually when time comes like that. So don't take it personally, bruh. Keep your head up. You know what I'm saying? It's all business. And thank you. Thank you. Your jersey will be retired. You would have got a statue if the Hawks would have kept you. Just played 20 years in Atlanta. Make another Eastern Conference Finals push, potentially a Finals push. In one of those years, you stayed together long enough. Look at Dirk Nowitzki, 20 years. He pushes through 1 year and gets a championship. Reggie Miller stays 20 years. He gets a couple of Eastern Conference championships. He gets a couple of Eastern Conference championship appearances, finals appearances. And then he goes to the finals 1 year. And he's a legend forever in Indiana. That would have been Trae Young in Atlanta. But everybody folded to the outside noise and pressure. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the world we live in. So in a world where microwavable things and stuff like that, the Hawks are going to regret this decision. I'm not even going to lie to you. And it's all dependent upon this Pelicans pick that hasn't materialized. I would get it if it was like the Hawks got the number 1 pick and they're taking Darren Peterson, and Darren Peterson is going to replace Trae Young. That makes sense. You don't even have the pick yet. The pick could be the number 8 pick. This pick can be the number 10 pick. This pick can be the number 13th pick. Where is this guard that's better than Trae Young coming from? Shouts out to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's doing a great job. He ain't Trae Young. I'm sorry, twin. I don't care what defense. Salute to your defense. You ain't Trae Young, twin. But salute to you, brother. Culture matters. Tradition matters. It's a whole generation of kids in Atlanta that were raised, that became basketball fans because of Trae Young was in their city. And they became Hawks fans because Trae Young was in their city. Some things are bigger than business, saving money, everything like that. Some things are just bigger than that. So salute to everybody. Shouts out to Trae. Thank you for all that you've done for the city. And that's all I wanted to say, bro. That's all I wanted to say. 20 minutes of me saying the same thing, but y'all take care of yourselves. I'm out. All right. Peace out.
Rashad, why you didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother. Front, lead,
What's up,
in it,
Rashad?
yeah.
What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.